This is Earl Ofari Hutchinson, author and political analyst. Who says slavery wasn't beneficial? Well, we know Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has made a major issue about putting a pretty face on slavery. He and his Florida Board of Education, of course, touched off a firestorm of indignation all the way up to the White House with Kamala Harris, vice president, attacking Ron DeSantis and his Florida Board of Education. What did they say? That they were a little careful about that, slavery with some slaves benefited. In other words, they got skills from slavery. Totally debunked. But nonetheless, here's the interesting thing about that. It's not just Ron DeSantis that has that view about slavery, i.e., a benign view, a benign spin about slavery. Millions of Americans actually, in one way, shape, or form, don't have a bad feeling about slavery. 1 out of 5 Trump supporters said slavery was not a bad thing. Even more, that the South, not the North, should have won the Civil War. By the way, that poll was taken in 2016. My guess is in 2023, not much difference. That translates out to millions of Americans think that slavery was not a bad thing. Ron DeSantis has a lot of company, as it turns out. In my new book, Who Says Slavery Wasn't Beneficial? So I take the issue on. I walk it through the history, not only of apologizing for slavery going back in time, but the devastating consequences of that today. Not in 1865 or 1823, but 2023. So who benefits? Or who says slavery wasn't beneficial? All those skills, all those talents supposedly that blacks got. I talk about that. I debunk that. I walk through the history of that. And most importantly, I talk about the devastating political consequences of that view today. Very prevalent, very dominant, and very much in the thinking of millions of Americans. My new book, Who Says Slavery Wasn't Beneficial? Amazon.com. Earl Ofari Hutchinson, author and political analyst.